because the more people know about Kamala Harris, the more they realize there's no substance there. I mean, agree or disagree with Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, they actually had substance. They could actually articulate a viewpoint. I listened to Kamala Harris for 90 seconds, and I actually feel like I've gotten dumber in the process, and I have no idea what she actually believes. That's the problem with Kamala Harris, and it's going to continue to be her problem unless she actually learns how to develop a viewpoint, articulate it for the American people. Just say what you actually believe. Don't do this word salad, talking around in circles. It doesn't work.
Oh my God. Nobody can articulate it better than JD Vance. And I've got more to share with you. That was him talking about this preposterous book tour, comeback tour of Kamala Harris. She's the most irrelevant, unqualified, brain dead politician to ever have a chance. People think she's actually going to run in 2028. It ain't going to happen, dearie. You had your chance. You executed a coup on a sitting vegetable in chief. You usurped the actual democratic process and bypassed a primary and just self-appointed yourself with your little cabal. None of it worked. That was the closest you're ever going to get. But today's video is not about Kamala Harris. Oh, thank God. This video is about our future president in 2028, JD Vance, once again showing considerable forethought, intelligence, articulation. He has such command of his principles. This is a self-made guy who came from nothing. Super, super authentic and real. Here is JD Vance. I'm going to share this with you because we are now facing a potential, probably more than likely, potential government shutdown, which is going to hurt so many Americans, all because the Democrats who are now on this tour and media blitz trying to say it's all the Republicans' fault because they own all three branches of the government, but they know very well that you need votes in the Senate from Democrats to get this thing done, this CR. Watch JD Vance absolutely torch these guys after they had their closed meeting today. But first, I want to share with you what the Hippocrats, what Schumer and Hakeem, the lowest approval rating in the history of U.S. politics. Listen to what they said first, especially over the hill, rotting carcass Chuck Schumer, who actually tried to blackmail President Trump by using this narrative, this anecdote of a poor child and mother experiencing cancer to get what he wants, which is essentially, you and I both know this, they want to fund healthcare for illegal aliens while everyday normal Americans are suffering every month trying to make their healthcare premiums. Watch this.
To the president, some of the consequences of what's happening in healthcare. And by his face and by the way he looked, I think he heard about them for the first time. The closing of rural hospitals. The fact that so many clinics are closing. And I don't know if he knew this before, but the fact that people will pay $4,000 more a year, $400 more a month, close to $5,000 more a year on their health care premiums if we don't do anything. And people don't know what to do. The average working family can't afford that. I told him how I met a mother who was crying to me because her daughter had cancer. And what has happened with health care, with what they have done, she's going to watch her daughter suffer and maybe die.
This despicable, vile human being actually said, I told him how I met a mother who was crying and her daughter has cancer because of what they have done. This is such a shameful display by Chuck Schumer. Illegal aliens on healthcare is not bipartisan. Chuck, when are you going to get it through your head? There's a reason why you have the lowest approval rating in the history of U.S. politics, in the history of our country. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. And why, you have to ask yourself, America, why do they want to fight so hard? Imagine if they put that energy towards actual hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. How great we would be. Why? Ask yourself why they are fighting so hard for these illegals. Because they can't earn you and I's vote. They can't earn Americans' votes who actually live here, pay taxes, abide by the law, work their butts off every single day, born and raised here. Or legal immigrants, like my parents, who came to this country but actually earned it the right way, not through unfettered red carpet access that you and your heathen anti-American terrorist organization did over the last 12 of the last 16 years, starting with the divider in chief, Obama. Why are they fighting so hard for these criminally illegal aliens? Why are they using language like black and brown people are being swept off the streets? Innocent immigrants are being taken away without their rights by terrifying masked men. Why are they using this language? Why? Because that's their voter base. Because they can't earn. They are so abysmal. They're like Swiss cheese. Real Americans see right through their BS. That now, I mean, imagine a party, a political party that is so destitute, so absolutely foul in every imaginary measure possible, that instead of actually putting their energy towards repairing this dismantled train wreck called the Democrat Party and actually serving the public for the greater good of the country, they not only double down, not only triple down, they quadruple down on the radical, aggressively anti-American, violent, criminal illegals, because that is the only people left who will vote for them. That's who these people are. And that's where I want to share with you somebody who can probably articulate it a lot better than me, our future president, JD Vance. Watch this.
We just had a very frank conversation with the Senate and House Democratic leadership. Look, the principle at stake here is very simple. We have disagreements about tax policy, but you don't shut that government down. We have disagreements about health care policy, but you don't shut the government down. You don't use your policy disagreements as leverage to not pay our troops, to not have essential services of government actually function. You don't say the fact that you disagree about a particular tax provision is an excuse for shutting down the people's government and all the essential services that come along with it. If you look at what Chuck Schumer has said in the past consistently, it's whatever our disagreements are, let's negotiate with them, let's talk about them, let's figure out a bipartisan solution, but you don't shut the government down. In other words, you don't put a gun to the American people's head and say, unless you do exactly what Senate and House Democrats want you to do, we're going to shut down your government. That's exactly what they're proposing out there. Now, we have to remember, they're very frustrated. They say that they're very frustrated about the fact that this negotiation has not taken place until today. But if you look at the original thing they did with this negotiation, it was a $1.5 trillion spending package, basically saying to the American people, we want to give massive amounts of money, hundreds of billions of dollars to illegal aliens for their health care, while Americans are struggling to pay their health care bills. That was their initial foray into this negotiation. We thought it was absurd. We told them it was absurd, and now they come in here saying that if you don't give us everything that we want, we're going to shut down the government. We think that's preposterous. We think it's totally unacceptable, and we think the American people are going to suffer because these guys won't do the right thing. Now, I want to make one final point here. You will hear a lot from Senate Democrats, from House Democrats about the fact that American health care policy is broken. Well, we know that American health care policy is broken. We've been trying to fix it for the 8 months that we've been in office, but every single thing that they accuse about being broken about American health care is policy that Democrats have supported for the past decade. So if they want to talk about how to fix American health care policy, let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together, but let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do, and the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing. I hope they change their mind. First of all, we have to keep essential services functioning as well as possible if the Democrats shut down the government, and Russ has been tasked with making sure that's possible. Now, you asked about negotiations. One of the things I admired about the president, but frankly the entire team's approach during the conversation we just had with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries was, they have some crazy ideas. Giving taxpayer money to illegal aliens for health care, that's a crazy idea. Funding transgender surgeries in Peru, that's a crazy idea. But they had some ideas that I actually thought were reasonable, and they had some ideas that the president thought was reasonable. What's not reasonable is to hold those ideas as leverage and to shut down the government unless we give you everything that you want. There were multiple times where Leader Jeffries or Leader Schumer would say, you know what, we should be doing this. And the President of the United States would say, yeah, absolutely, let's have that conversation. But we're going to do it in the context of the people's government being open. We're not going to let you take the people's government hostage and then give you everything that you want. And that's really the state of the negotiation. Yeah, let's have a conversation. Let's have a negotiation. But we're not going to shut down the government because we won't give the Democrats everything that they want.
Fellow Americans, that's real leadership right there. Real, raw, authentic, intelligence. A guy who was self-made, pulled up his own bootstraps, came from nothing, abject poverty, you could almost say. He had a mother who had a severe drug addiction problem. I mean, broken family, the whole 9 yards. He did it all himself. He's so reasonable, common sense, calls it out, tells it like he sees it with Kamala Harris, with all this ridiculous Democrat swamp vermin theatrics and histrionics. He, you know, this is literally, I hope to God, I pray to God, everybody pray that JD Vance doesn't become so disgruntled, doesn't become so dismayed that he forgoes a 2028 campaign, because it could possibly happen. You know, a lot of the good ones, I mean, his family is probably getting major, major death threats every single day. He's got young kids. He's still a young man. He could live a life of actual, leisure and enjoyment, open up a private law practice. He doesn't even really need to do that. He could just do speeches and keynotes and travel the country, travel the world with his wife and kids. But I think he's a to the bone public servant. And I'm hoping to God he doesn't become too disheveled and dissuaded to run in 2020. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is what leadership looks like. Calling it, telling it like it is. Our country is in amazingly good, able, and capable hands. And I just hope to God that he continues. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I feel for anybody. If you... by the way, JD Vance's office, Caroline Leavitt, Stephen Miller, Speaker Johnson, President Trump's office, they all watch this show. Let them know what you think in the comments down below, especially if you're a federal worker who's going to suffer severe consequences of this shutdown that is propagated by the radical, extreme, progressive, left of Lenin Democrats. Let them know how you feel in the comments down below. I want to hear from you too. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. I can't wait to hear from you. President Trump, Schumer and Hakeem like to rail on President Trump not meeting. The guy's literally brokering a peace deal, a first historic. Not only did he broker the Abraham Accords in his first term, but this is like record-breaking historic peace deal with the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. I might do a whole nother separate video breaking down that kind of 20-point, 21-point peace deal or peace plan, what have you. But essentially, it's pretty much a closed deal. Netanyahu has agreed, and it actually works for both people. Hamas might actually get amnesty if they agree to release all the hostages and acquiesce to all of the demands of this administration. This guy's working tirelessly, ceaselessly, and you guys are doing nothing. I dare you to name me one achievement. Give me one achievement of Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, Nobody's Dream Jeffries, and this ridiculous Hippocrat Party. Is it any shock that they have the lowest approval rating in political history? Give me a break, for crying out loud. But again, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, please tap that thumbs up if you love America. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps us out immeasurably. All you got to do is tap that thumbs up. You can even do it on your remote if you're watching this on TV. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.